Wow. Absolutely love her voice. Absolutely. Alright. Bring up Discord. Discord is open. Right. Live with the Shaman. Damn, I keep getting confused as to which damn broadcast I'm on. Alright. Live with the Shaman. As always, we have to put our disclaimer in. This is a rated PG channel, I guess you could say. We do periodically like to use a bit of harsh language, and we are not politically correct. We are a shaman channel, witches and druids and fae and everyone else is welcome. However, your viewpoints are welcome. As a shaman, separate from a pagan minister, when I am in shaman mode and I've got the shaman hat on, we're going to have to agree to disagree, quite frankly. I love the witches, but witchcraft gives me heartburn on a metaphysical level. I want to thank those who are joining us today over in Discord. You'll notice in the top right hand corner is the title for today, the description for what we're talking about. There is a non-expiring Discord invitation if you want to actually be heard, and of course under music by there is a link to whoever's music I like to play on the channel. Right. So again, adult oriented content. Right.
Anyway, hi.
Heidi ho.
Let's see, in Discord we have Clint, Lucy, Cammy's listening, and then we have Xena.
Alright. So our conversation today, we've been talking about our series of books that I guess you could say require my students at least read as they make it up through their education and they start going through their training. A couple of these books have absolutely nothing to do with shamanism. In fact, all of them don't have shaman anywhere in them. I did, however, you've been hearing us talk about the Scottish witchcraft book that I read back when I first started in shamanism in the late 90s, when I first actually knew what the hell it was called. One of the books I found in Scotland that I read that really helped me on my way was Scottish witchcraft. Now, Cindy has told me that the cover has changed, so I need to get that posted and a link to it. I am looking, I have the audio for the Black Jewel. I have the PDF for the Keys of Light. I have not found the audio for the Keys of Light. I have not found the PDF for the Black Jewels. Damn it, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. If you decide you want to read these, you can PM me your email address and I'll share my Google Drive with you and you can read what I have in my library. There we go. PM me your email address. Don't put it in a public forum. Onward and upward. I hope everybody over in Discord is doing well. So has anybody yet made it all the way through the Black Jewel series?
No.
Has anybody started reading the Black Jewel series?
I gotta get them.
PM me, Clint. They're in my Google Drive.
Okay.
So people that watch Open Pagan Church and that are starting to kind of watch Live with the Shaman, you'll find we are very much more relaxed over here on this channel. I try to keep it family friendly for Open Pagan Church. As Shaman, we give two shits. Right. Left monitor, here we go. Black Jewel series. There are like 8 or 9 of these damn books, all total. There are prequels, sequels, and what have you, but the actual in line is 8. Now, why? Well, I've been in meditation trying to figure out how to explain this to you guys, and it's really kind of simple. The Black Jewel trilogy is okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a love story. It's a hell of a fantasy. I don't carry to it as a reality statement, if you will. But shut up, Google. The Black Jewels introduce you to the webs, being able to traverse the webs. What are they? How do they work? I know after reading these books, it helped me get to astral. After reading the astral travel book when I was younger, and getting into learning how to astral travel, when I read the Black Jewel trilogies and started reading them and listening to them, I was able to visualize the web that gets you through the different planes while you're traveling. And that has helped me to be able to traverse the different planes, getting on the different webs. Also, the Black Jewel trilogies talk a lot about anger, the warrior anger that shamans deal with on a daily basis. Every shaman I have ever met has anger management issues. We have absolutely no problem dope-popping the shit out of somebody and blessing them as they fall, if you will. Shamans also are very opinionated. We're very mouthy in our craft and what we do. We have our opinion. You're welcome to your opinion, and I'll listen to your opinion. But if you try to shove your opinion down my throat, I will tell you to go fuck yourself, and I'm perfectly comfortable doing that. So, in reading through and listening through the Black Jewel trilogies, you listen to the stories of the different warriors and how they deal with their anger. The Black Jewels also teach you about the crystal chalice. The crystal chalice is the part of the brain that resides way down deep below all of the jewels, as you can visualize each jewel in the Black Jewel trilogies, and I'll talk about the jewels here in a minute. But you can use that visualization as you're learning to go back and travel back. You can use the books to help you with past life regression, because each jewel that you step down through as your power grows through your training, you can use that as a visualized idea of how to get back into the deeper self. Any questions so far?
Nope. Go for it.
So you can lose yourself in these books. You can lose yourself in the story of the books, and I actually strongly recommend that you do. I will tell you, those on Amazon, they are strictly formatted to be able to read on the Amazon e-reader. They will not.
It's a paperback.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I've got, you can buy the books, you can get them on Amazon, but I'm talking about a digital copy in PDF. or
Yeah, I like physical books to hold it in my hand and see the
yeah,
paper ink. That's just me.
a lot of people do, and my wife's that way. She absolutely loves holding the book and holding the paper. Where me, I listen to audiobooks because unfortunately, with my reading comprehension where it is with my dyslexic, by the time I read a page and start the next page, hell, I forgot what was on the first fucking page. But when I listen to it and I listen to the audiobook, I listen driving to work in the morning a lot of times, and I listen especially in the traffic coming home in the evenings. I get a good hour, sometimes an hour and a half of listening time. But when you're listening to reading, digital reading, or holding the books, however you want to do it, let yourself get lost in the story. Excuse me. The reason you do that, you learn more by allowing yourself to get lost in a story than you do if you're reading a book on craft. Okay? Studying shamanism, there are thousands of books out there on shamanism, just like there are thousands of books on witchcraft. And none of them are wrong. But they're written by the individual, by the philosophy of the individual that's teaching that particular craft and the way they teach it. In the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, each teacher has their own philosophy or philosophical way of teaching. Me, this is the way I teach. You learn to lose yourself in a book, in a movie, in life, irregardless of the fantasy or the reality of it. You pull out of it what's right for you. Like for me, traversing the webs to get from one plane to another plane, to get from one veil to another veil. I have found that earlier on, when I was learning to traverse through the different realms of the astral, there were keepers of the gate in the astral. Every plane that I've ever landed on in the astral, there is a keeper of the gate to challenge the gate. Why are you here? What is your purpose? Especially the plane of all of the metaphysical creatures. Pegasus, unicorns, griffins. There are different planes where the different metaphysical creatures live. And as you learn to traverse those planes, you can learn a lot about yourself. Now, the jewels that these books use, the lowest of which is the white jewel. I use the white jewel as what they call cloudy quartz. It's not clear and it's not smoke, but it's a white cloudy quartz. There are the yellow jewels, tiger's eye, rose, summer sky, purple dusk, opal, green, sapphire, red, gray, ebon gray, and black. The black jewel is, for me, onyx or smoky black quartz. That's typically my philosophy of the way they run for me. And when you're going through your jewels, if you will, your different colors, they give you a visual aid as to something in which you can start stepping back. Now, these are kind of in reverse. Alright, the black is the strongest of all of the jewels. It is the one that carries the most power. So generally, what I started doing when I was just starting out is I would use the white jewel as an awakened meditative state, if you will. And then each step that I took, stepping back and deeper, I would visualize each color stone or jewel, whatever the hell you want to call it, and allow that to help me meditate. So, sorry, I was returning to replying to a chat. So what are your thoughts so far? Anybody have any thoughts? Whether you've read the books or not, what do you think about the philosophies or the idea that, I'm kind of talking about on the Black Jewel trilogies?
I think it'd be good to read. If it's like you said, stones and stuff. It's like a storyline, is it not?
It is. It steps you out through the life of a pair of warriors, if you will, from two completely different races. They're half brothers. Um, the storyline also has a lot to do with Lucifer, uh, Damien, demons. It talks a lot about hell, right? There are some areas of it in the Black Jewel trilogies that refer to hell, if you will, or Lucifer or whatever. But if you look at the storyline, right, where it can help you, using the different jewels in the book as a meditative stance. Like I say, the white jewel might be the wakened state. The yellow jewel might be a relaxation state. If you concentrate on each jewel or each crystal, right? Tiger's eye, self-explanatory. Rose might be a rose quartz. Summer sky is kind of a blue, maybe amethyst. I've always used amethyst for the southern sky. Purple dusk, opal, green, sapphire, red, gray, ebon gray, and black. So each jewel that you concentrate on in the books as you're learning to meditate, it can teach you to go deeper and deeper. Well, one of the biggest things each one of us have to contend with is the crystal chalice. The crystal chalice is the self. In the book it talks about people getting in the books it talks about people getting broken, right? Getting shattered within their own crystal chalice. Oh, sorry, I just noticed Nicole posted. Oh, Nicole says maybe one-on-one with you would be a treat. Have some options. Yeah, Nicole, absolutely. PM me, right? And we'll come up with some time to sit down and chat.
Or I'll get with you and figure out with her.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, books that you read that are not shaman books, but yet speak to you individually. The Black Jewels have always spoken to me. I've always used them with my students, and they start to wonder why until they get about a quarter of the way through the first book, and then they're like, I get it. Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from there. Because it takes you on a trip, it takes you on a journey through a different time, through different planes. It could, the books can help you journey from plane to plane, or at least they did with me when I was first starting out. When I re-listen to them now, it kind of reminds me of a few basics. I really enjoy the storyline, and I love the book in general. So, we all understand opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Email.
Um, so, what are and what are some of the things that you might want to know about why I would recommend going all the way through all 8 books of the Black Jewel trilogies? Now, mind you, I've been through all 8 books and listened to them, and I'm on my second time to listen to them. But the last time I listened to them was probably about 12 or 13 years ago. So, what questions would you have as to why in the hell I would recommend listen to something or read something like this when it might have nothing to do with shamanism, though it does?
But don't you have, like, the key of the light is the light side of our path or our learnings, and this one is the dark side?
Yeah, the Key of Light series walks you through light, knowledge, and valor, like we talked about last week. The the Black Jewel trilogies absolutely reminds us that energy is energy, and that's talked about a lot in the book. The different energies that people use, and the fact that energy is energy. There's no um, and I love this one. There's no white magic. There's no black magic. There's no good energy. There's no bad energy. It's just energy. I've had people accuse me of having bad energy. Well, don't piss me off, and I won't have bad energy. Type thing. Energy is energy. Just like.
Energy is what we make it.
Right. It's just like this screwdriver. Okay. Well, you can tell I am absolutely a computer tech. I've always got a screwdriver on my desk. But anyway, it's just a screwdriver. It's a tool. I can kill somebody with it, or I can use it to fix a computer, or I can use it to tighten or loosen a screw. That's what it's designed for. Energy is you. This coffee cup has energy. It has mass. It has energy. My microphone has energy. Everything is energy. Everything has energy. It's all in how you use it. So when you're going through and you're reading or you're listening or whatever, you're digesting a book, and you're digesting that book specifically for craft, you approach it with a different mindset. And I've had people just start out reading these books for pleasure, and then about halfway through I'll pop the question, okay, what do you see in book 1 that would align you with your Celtic shaman philosophy? And I give them a couple of days to get back with me. I said, what do you think? Well, Celtic shamanism has a bit of a different ring to it than Siberian shamanism, right? Celtic shamanism has a different ring to it, of course, than witchcraft, Gardnerian Wicca, right? When you're talking into different paths, different philosophies, and different ideologies, you're going to find many parallels. We're all looking for the same thing. We're looking for happiness, understanding, education, and knowledge coming together as wisdom. to get a better understanding of where we're going, what we're going to do. What the hell are we supposed to do when we get there? Are we even going anywhere? You know? At the end of the day, is it like the atheists say that when we die, we're done, that's it? Is it like what the Christians say, when we die, we go to the golden streets of heaven? Is it like most pagans say, when we die, we go into a resting period and we either come back, we move forward, our spirit is split off into other spirits to start life over again? Fuck if I know. And the spirits aren't talking. I mean, when you ask them, they kind of giggle.
Well, the spirits do talk. They
You started to say something and I lost you. What was it?
Okay, maybe my phone will work for me. All right, so I was asking my daughter at 5 what she thought happens after you die. And she said to me, and I dead-faced, she said, "Mama, you go into the ground and then you come back up." And I said, "How do you come back up?" And she said, "Well, it depends on what you've done." And this is a 5-year-old telling me this. This is part of the reason why I believe the things that I do.
Let me tell you, from the mouth of babes does slap the adult. My daughter is 14, and some of the shit that she has come up with through the years has left me completely befuddled and flabbergasted. But the cool thing about it is when you ask them their opinion, you get it. Unabridged, untempered. Now, of course, when they reach teenage, their brains melt. Their brains turn into this mush goo of something. But when they're really young and they're first really learning how to talk, and while the spirit is still young in their minds, the shit that comes out of their mouth is amazing. That is really a cute analogy from your daughter, though. Absolutely. So, where to from here? I don't believe that everyone should live their life craft off of books. I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, if we all lived our life craft off of books, then we're not going to learn anything outside of that little cubicle of what that book tells you you can or can't do. Which is why there's no pagan Bible. Joke. Could we imagine that? A single pagan Bible?
No, but like, do we have pagan Bibles?
Yeah, but isn't
That thing would be massive and contradictory, and yeah.
Because when you're talking about paganism, I mean, what makes us pagan is polytheistic, right? We believe in the possibility of multiple gods and goddesses. Boop, that's paganism. Full stop. Anything outside of that becomes path specific. How do you feel those gods and goddesses work? That's path specific. What gods and goddesses do you communicate with? That's path specific. Even in the shaman realm, do you have a council? Do you even know what the Council is? The Council of Nine. If you studied shamanism in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, you know what the Council of Nine is. That's path specific. When you call circle, do you have an element that attaches to north? Well, if you do, that's not shamanism. Right? Shamanism says north is it standalone. Spirit that stands with north is not called at the same time north is, because north doesn't have an element. North is just north. Now, of course, other paths have debated that with me in the past, and we understand where each other's coming from. I get it. Our circle has 9 points. But one of the things that I think the Black Jewel trilogies shows us is the variable existence of hundreds of thousands of other races that live on hundreds of thousands of other planes, that whether they exist at the same time ours does, just slightly through the other side of the veil. Do they live slightly ahead of ours or slightly behind ours? I've heard some theories that say they run right angle off of our plane of existence. I don't for 1 second believe that this plane of existence is the only one. But again, it comes down to reading things that other people have written and seeing it from their standpoint. If a metaphysical movie sucks you in, this is something that I've always done. It doesn't work for everyone. But sometimes when I watch a metaphysical movie, I think, why did I watch that? Was there a purpose why I watched it, or was it simply for entertainment? But it comes back to another thing that shaman students have to learn. We are analytical son of a bitches. We analyze why we analyze. We analyze.
Why'd you do that? When did you do that?
Right.
How did you do that?
Right. How was that? But another thing that shamans do is we are quite okay understanding that I don't know.
Like, if we get in, I haven't gotten any discussion of path or anything spiritual wise with Nicole yet, but I want to see her and Paul go head to head on our subject.
I would almost pay good money to be a fly on the wall. Yeah.
You do not want me to get into it with my father over religion. I will win every single time.
See?
But from a shaman point of view, is there a winner?
Never. It's both. It's you agree, I agree, you agree, to disagree.
Okay, so in an intellectual conversation, no, there is never a winner. However, when it comes to my father, the first person to walk away is the loser.
But what is it if we agree to disagree?
A stalemate.
But see, herein lies the shaman philosophy that makes us shamans.
Oh, by the way, Don, she studies shamanism too.
Good. we're okay not winning the debate because in our philosophy, there's never a winner of the debate. And we're okay not walking away from a topic, but just shutting up about it because there comes to a point where you're rehashing a debate of a topic that has already been hashed. And when we look at the philosophy of religious ideology, right, and reading a book, what one book meant to me, what it may mean to someone else, when we're teaching our craft, if you will, it comes down to acceptance of a difference. You know, the interesting part, and I've used this analogy before, no two Q-tips are exactly the same. Even if they're made by the same machine, in the same batch, in the same box, no two Q-tips are exactly the same. And that's the philosophy we use in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. No two shamans are the same. We look at our base core philosophies, that what makes a shaman, what makes the lifestyle of a shaman. And in the Grove, we're like, okay, I get that. The only place we draw the line in the sand, so to speak, and Cindy can tell you this when it comes to me, anybody that knows me can, where I draw the line in the sand is when I'm calling a circle and my students are there. They are shaman. Period. End of discussion. They follow the creed, they follow the craft, they follow the tradition, they do as they're taught to do. When they're calling the circle, are they calling an open circle? Are they calling a shaman circle? And this is another thing that I have to kind of recommend the Black Jewel trilogies, because it teaches that, it talks about when in your world, do what you do. When in my world, do as you're taught. Follow protocol. And I know for a fact, having spent a lot of time with Alexandrian, what you call it, fourth degree, I think.
Yes, the fourth degree,
Right.
Gardnerian Alexander.
Okay. Spending a shitload of time with her on a leadership level, just the two of us with no students around. I'm easy when it comes to protocol versus many of the Wiccan traditions. Yeah. So when we're thinking about debating philosophy, just from a shamanic point of view, the loser is the one that learns nothing from the conversation. The winner is the person or people that come away from it with a new understanding. So when I get into a conversation with people that refuse to acknowledge an external point of view, typically I just shut up. You know, if somebody wants to spark a conversation and their side is the only side that's important or means anything or matters, what's the point? It's just my take on it. What's the point? You know, I want other people's opinion. What I don't tolerate is when people tell me my opinion is wrong. My opinion can't be wrong because it's my fucking opinion. I have been known to change my opinion once someone has come up with an educated opinion that I can look at and go, that makes sense. I wonder if I read something wrong somewhere. So I'll go research. I'll research like a big dog. And I may come back later and go, okay, I concur. I get it. And I will change my opinion. And I'm perfectly okay doing that. But that's the whole reason for the Black Jewel trilogies for students and anybody that wants to read the series. My students are required to read at least the trilogy, at least the first 3 books, because it leads them down the road of understanding. It's not my way or the highway, though my way shares the same highway that your way does. I just may take a different turn, so to speak. Any other thoughts or ideas before we close?
Just that if you're wanting good series to read, these are them.
You know, Ann Bishop was always one of the authors I wanted to meet. Never going to happen, but a lot of her philosophies and ideas are interesting. So what do we think? Going through the series of the books that we recommend in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, they're not always for you. They're not always for anybody else. But the reason they're required reading is to open your mind, open your thoughts, open your ideas, and say, what does that mean to me? And as a shaman, philosophically speaking, we are always about, what does that mean to me? What is it to me? How does it make me feel? What is my thought processes to it? And what do I think about it? So that's the purpose for the Black Jewel trilogies. So with that, I'm going to send you off to enjoy the rest of your Monday. Hope to see you again.
Good job.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything, announcements or anything they need to add?
She's wanting you to list the books. I'll give her your website so you can see the book list.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. If you will, if you'll do that, I'm going to be updating it pretty shortly. I'm going to be updating it pretty quick. So, I mean, but it does still give the list of books to go on. So,
We're going to have, what page you going to have that on?
it'll be on the Open Shaman, Open GCS page.
Okay.
Yep. So, we'll see you next week here on on Live with the Shaman. And I think I'm going to go away and learn how to talk now. You guys enjoy your week. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.